Sounds like a.
Right,
Sounds
hold
like.
on, Alex. Right, here we are. We're at, well, a very different venue, as you can see, in Weybridge. I've got Alex Ratton, who is the guinea pig. He's an open-minded golfer, and bless him, he's going to give me a chance of giving him a lesson. He has lessons off a very good pro here, I will say. I'm sure he's got some ideas. You will confirm that I've never seen you play before.
No, and that's not going to be. You're going to really like what you see. I think in terms of blank canvas, you're going to enjoy this. Yeah. So no, this is not how I thought today would go, but let's see how we go on.
Well, let's see what happens anyway.
Right.
But I've never seen you play. I've no any idea, because I'm going to ask you about your game.
Okay.
And you're going to get an alternative, let's say, golf lesson today.
Okay. Cool.
So let's crack on.
All right.
And we don't want any disturbance from you, young man.
Oh, a little wardrobe change.
Right,
like
you can come in and ask questions if you want.
Yeah. He doesn't
We've got actually his own teaching pro is coming around. He's perfectly welcome, and as long as he doesn't start trying to give him a lesson, then he's fine.
And stays out of shot.
Right, Alex, the first thing I'm going to ask you is you're going to start warming up, so you can feel free to hit as I'm talking to you.
Okay.
But because I've never seen you swing, but you know, if you were going to describe, I think you're a 12 handicap, is that right?
About then, I think that's probably kinder to the ego side. I reckon 12 to 15.
12
and
to
I'm
15.
struggling to play to it. It's there, but too many errors.
And as I understand it, anyway, you are fairly athletic person, but with injuries.
Exactly, yeah. A lifetime of impacts, and I've got Alsatian-like hips that don't want to turn as much as they should, which you're about to see.
Okay, that's yeah, I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
His coach is laughing. I don't know if that's a good thing.
It's absolutely a typical thing.
You carry on warming up.
I haven't shown you any of the badness yet. You just.
But if you described your golf, what would you like to improve? What's wrong with your game?
Two things really: tempo and consistency of swing. And the gap between good and bad shots is massive. The bad shots literally kill me. So thinning the dispersion down and really just a more repeatable, better swing.
When you play golf, just out of interest, do you get the feeling are you trying to learn one swing that repeats itself? Is that, because I think that's just the general thing that most people think.
Every sport I've ever played has always been commit to it, like cricket. Flash and flash hard. I'm trying to get the club moving as fast as possible on a line I can control, and much like a motorbike, I'm working on the assumption that the faster it's moving, the more stable it is, which may or may not be right, but yeah.
So you're trying to move the club very fast.
I'm trying to, club head speed and compression, because I've heard a lot of the buzzwords, and because I've done some of my own research, that seems to be what people refer to a lot, but until I understand the mechanics and what it feels like it's a lot of theory for someone that's unschooled in the theory. Okay,
so you've said those two things, but also would you say standing square with the correct stance, correct grip, learning a golf, a workable golf swing is also a goal of yours? Yeah,
and what I've also done in the past is that each time I've stood over a ball, it's like I'm hitting it for the first time. I'm not thinking about what my feet are doing, my hands. It's almost an arbitrary play a shot. Whereas now it's a bit more about, do my feet look right? Does the club look right? And it really, it's the confidence to trust based on thinking I'm doing stuff in the right order, as close to copy paste as possible.
Okay, and just as before, because I think we can pretty much get going here.
Okay.
Would you say that, based on what I've seen so far, we can potentially have a very alternative golf lesson?
Love to.
Now, would you say that, coordination and timing is a big part of golf, or a big part of your game?
I would say it's absolutely enormous. Timing, like every sport. If you look at great batsmen, all the footage I've seen, described as effortless timing. Now, you have effortless timing from practice, but yeah, timing's like everything. Timing's critical to everything.
Yeah. If I go on from that, so let's just say, so that is so without coordination and timing, we could never be a good golfer. Fair to say?
We'd have to make so many other
sports.
We'd have to make a lot of other swaps and compensations. Yeah.
But even if we did, we couldn't. Would it be fair if we didn't actually have coordination timing? We'd finish.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't enjoy anything.
We couldn't do it. We would never be a good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Really, we might fluke a good shot. It's a bit like putting or something like that, where You might know you've hit a bad putt and it somehow goes in.
Yeah.
But you know you've hit a bad putt.
But there's also there's no pictures on a scorecard. Like, yeah, but that's kind of not the point. Like,
Well,
I'd
let's
like the
just
score and the
assume that
pictures.
we're trying to hit a good golf shot. Let's assume that's the goal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
To be a better and better golfer. So what? Because I'm coming to my point in a minute. We're going to get us started. Is now I would say that, and hopefully you're going to agree with me here, is that if coordination and timing is a very important part, which I think it is, I'm going to introduce another word called freedom. Okay. In other words, if we have anxiety, doubt, tension, right, we cannot produce freedom. A bit like you're throwing a bit of paper in a basket and you start to doubt. You can feel. Can you feel how that
questioning your ability to throw something underarm rather than just throwing it?
Terribly with our ability to coordinate. In fact, we can't. So we have to have freedom, right, in our swing. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to put freedom, coordination, timing at the forefront. In other words, make that the priority instead of everything else.
Yeah, okay.
But with an understanding. And this is the journey that I'm going to put you out on a new journey potentially.
Awesome. Okay.
Because the journey is with the understanding that actually to lose freedom is to have doubt and anxiety, tension, all those things. But we create doubt, tension and anxiety when we're not able to deliver the club head in an efficient way.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's what that happens. So in other words,
still getting my head around it, but it makes sense.
It's working both ways.
I've not thought about it like this before. So
so in other words, the journey that we have to be on is first we put freedom, coordination at the forefront, but with the understanding that if we don't learn to deliver the club in an efficient way, we will create doubt, anxiety, and tension, which will lose freedom. And if we lose freedom, we can't.
Then we're going to lose it anyway for the wrong reason. Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
now, it's the same. If you watch a good player and a bad player, it's the difference between them. You can see they're delivering the club head in a very efficient way, right? And you can see that they're able to repeat
consistently,
consistently. But also, it's actually, I don't like the word consistent because they're actually able to do it in all kinds of different circumstances. They don't. If they were a machine and they found themselves in a bad lie, a machine would be useless in a bad lie because it needs a different delivery.
Yes.
They also know how to deliver it efficiently in the bad lies and in the different winds and all the different situations.
Yeah.
So they know all these things, how to deliver the club head efficiently. So we have to go on a journey, which I'm starting you out on today.
Okay.
So not only. It's not this machine-like mechanical swing that we learn. We actually have to do it in all these different situations too.
Right, okay.
And you can see when a bad player doesn't have that ability to deliver, what happens is they get doubt, they get anxiety, and they make these incredibly uncoordinated, very bad-looking golf swings.
Yes.
Right. So I'm going to start you on a brand new journey where we put coordination, freedom, all these things right at the forefront. Now, to do this, I'm going to ask you to do something. Can you... If I said to you, just do a follow through, show me how you would look, how you'd like to look in a follow through, how you think.
How I'd like to look and how I do look are different. But
doesn't matter. What do you think you would be? You don't have to
just go all the. I'd be saying, frankly, that.
Yeah. Could you relax a little more on that? Or not? Is that as relaxed as you could be?
Do you know what? I don't even know what I'm trying to feel, so I don't have
Let's just say. How do we feel there? Does that feel, if I've just relaxed you off a little bit, does that feel a little more relaxed?
Yeah, it does.
Right. So would that be a good thing if we're saying we're trying to create freedom and relaxation and coordination and that was a little more that what you were doing was quite sort of a tensy. There was a lot of tension there still.
Yeah, it's almost a mind's eye of how you think it should look and trying to make it rather than swinging it and seeing if you're swinging right.
So I've taken a bit of tension out there.
Yes, massively.
Right. Okay, so fair enough. So what I want to ask you to do is I want you to take literally the shortest backswing you could ever find in your life. Yeah. Like, in other words, you can take it back a foot if you want, or a couple of feet.
Okay.
Okay, because if I asked you to take it back there, right the way around your neck, and then find that position, you're going to find that pretty difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to just take a very tiny little backswing, go through to that follow through, and try and be as coordinated, free. Okay, and we'll talk about free in a minute.
Keep the tension off as much as possible.
Keep the tension off. So we're not trying to power it. You can hit it 50 yards.
And I'm going all the way into the follow through, yeah?
Yeah, just so
if I'm going to there, then I'm going.
Yeah. Okay, let me just do one for you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this is just to give you some kind of picture.
Mhm.
Okay, hopefully we're all still, yes. So the feeling might be just to take a very short backswing and then to go through to a follow through. So could look something like that. And we're literally not trying to hit it very hard. We're not trying to hit it particularly far or anything like that, but we're literally just
Yeah.
that sort of feeling with a focus very much on freedom. In other words, freedom, relaxed, fluid motion. In other words, if we went, oh, that's not really very free or coordinated, is it? So we're trying to get this sort of sense of, we could say, the Ernest Jones swinging the club head. He talks a lot about this kind of feeling of just the club head swinging, very relaxed. But I want you to try and get that feeling of very relaxed. Now, if I'm saying as short a backswing as possible, because if I ask you to take it back further, it becomes harder to coordinate.
Yes.
Everything. So we're literally just focusing on trying to gain as much freedom, fluid motion, coordination as we can from a very short motion, very short backswing. Okay.
So short backswing all the way through, and just trying to
trying to really focus on that idea of freedom, coordination. Real free. Feel the freedom in your body, in the club head, everything. Right, that was a hell of a lot of power compared to what I did, but yes, pretty good.
and a longer backswing.
Pretty good, yeah. And it was,
So go through it slower?
Yeah, I would say you don't need, or shorter.
Yeah.
If you took it back shorter, I mean, there's two things. Sorry, I'll just show you this very quickly, because that looked quite violent to me, but not that I'm not criticising, by the way.
Which is what I was saying about things moving fast.
But what I was going to say, if you take it back too short, right? If I took it back too short, I might feel like I've got to accelerate hard. And and of course, if I got that feeling of viciousness, then I'm losing freedom. Because freedom is kind of that sort of almost Ernest Jones swing the club head. In other words, as soon as I go, does that look like coordination and freedom to you?
Does that make sense? I want to get through this shot as quick as possible.
Yeah. So let's just go. So take it back just far enough, and you feel like you really don't have to hit this particularly hard at the moment. Literally, that would be enough. And that was a lot less action going on your shot there.
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay. And literally the focus. I would suggest you stand with your feet pretty close together as well, just for now. Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, did that feel quite relaxed?
Yeah, it felt fairly effortless, like not trying to push. Yeah.
More coordination than before?
Trying to stay out of the way of the club head, trying to do what it wants to do.
Okay, good. Allowing the club head to swing nicely, yes. That one probably didn't feel quite as good, did it?
No, but that felt very gentle.
Yeah. Try and just feel as coordinated as you possibly can on all these. Okay, and as free. Are you feeling freedom in the club head?
I am. I'm feeling it does feel unusual, because when I'm holding a club, I do want to hit it as hard as I can, which I've always done.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying you won't be doing that in time.
Okay.
Okay.
But these are about the right for pace and what we're trying to do.
I think you're looking pretty good. Does it feel a little easier by doing this to be coordinated?
It feels like I'm having to work less hard to get the club to do, rather than trying to manipulate where the club's going. It's trying to give it as easy a path as possible to do that.
Good. Very good. Very good.
Okay.
Right. Now, my suggestion, I mean, because we want to press on very quickly here.
Sure.
Now, you would practice that.
I should.
As a starting,
I don't practice enough.
No, as a starting point, that would be my suggestion to practice this. But we're obviously going to move on, because what we're doing there is we're starting to give you a feel of freedom, coordination. I'm not saying you have to make a backswing like that, but what you would do eventually is you would start to slowly increase the backswing, okay, but maintaining that feeling of freedom, coordination, until you get to a point where, in other words, if you took it round here, you might feel this is not an effective, efficient way for you to deliver the club head. In other words, from doing this kind of exercise, I learned that actually my ideal backswing, where I was going to gain the most power, the the most freedom, the most
Yeah.
coordination was a little shorter than
Not
I
the
thought it
longest.
was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some people, like John Daly or something, he might have a longer backswing.
Yeah. And then John Rahm, conversely, because he's got all that low
Exactly.
power and it doesn't need the same.
So
yeah.
you're just literally doing an exercise where you're putting the freedom, the forefront, and the freedom, the coordination, the timing right at the forefront, gaining a feeling for that.
Yeah.
And then literally taking the backswing out further and further and further, or coming back. If you think, oh, I've gone too far, oh, I'll come back.
Yeah.
So you've got that little exercise.
Okay.
Okay. But we're not going to do that fully today because
Sure.
we're going to stay on what you're doing at the moment.
Okay.
Because we're now going to learn how to deliver the club head more efficiently. We're going to go on a journey. Now, to do that, we get out of what I call straight and square. We've had this thinking in golf, straight and square mechanical thinking, that we should line ourselves up like some kind of machine, point ourselves at the target, swing on plane, do all these kinds of things, which actually no human being would do anyway. In other words, if we were going to play or do anything, we wouldn't. If you were going to play tennis, you wouldn't go, oh, I better stand square. You wouldn't do that.
Okay.
If you were going to box, punch somebody, oh, I'll get square first. I'll make sure my wrist is lined up or whatever it is.
Dynamic environment. Yeah.
Human beings don't do that in any sort of dynamic motion. They don't. The first thing is not, oh, I'm going to stand square. Table tennis, whatever we do, what we do is we make a preparation for the motion the motion and the intention that's about to take place.
Okay.
In other words, if I was going to hit a tennis topspin, I automatically close off my body. That would be my goal, to close off my body to hit a tennis topspin. So it's a preparation for what's about to take place. Now, the other thing is, so we've made a mistake right from the beginning by getting us to stand square. And secondly, we've assumed that everybody hits it dead straight like a machine goes ding, ding, ding. Now, if you went out onto the Pro Tour...
Well, I've heard it's the hardest shot to hit is a dead straight shot.
Well, it's a misconception. It's a load of rubbish. What you'd see, and a lot of the pros, I wouldn't say they're fully aware of this. There's going to be a little bit of, like, their straight shots. In all principle, you might see them hitting it dead straight all the time.
Yeah.
But what you don't see is little different intentions and little different spins that are going on. There's if there's a left to right spin, they might be doing a bit of that, and a right, left to right wind and all sorts of things. There's different little human reactions going on that we're not aware of that help us to deliver the club head more and more efficiently.
Okay.
So what we do is, instead of learning this machine-like way, we start to learn slightly different deliveries, and we start to try and get more effective at these different deliveries. Now, I'm going to do it with you with this, with this very short swing that we're doing at the moment, this free coordinated swing. Now, what I'll probably show you is easier. I'm going to ask you to start with, we're going to try and do a left to right spin. Okay, so we're going to try and imagine that we're hitting a shot from left to right, so left to the target. I mean, I'll do one if you like.
Yeah, please.
Where you just go, and I just try and put a little bit of spin on it.
Yeah.
I like to feel like there's just a tiny bit of left to right spin on it, and the ball's going to start left to target. Now, for some people, you might say, oh, a beginner could never do that. Loads of people say that. And of course they can, because you've only got to take their right hand, and you can feel like it was in tennis or table tennis. You could say high to low for a fade, and you could say low to high for a draw.
Swinging forehand,
So we're going to learn to hit a draw and a fade. But with this, which, and it doesn't matter, it's not going to swerve violently or anything. We're just going to feel that we're putting a different spin on it, but from coordination. So I'm going to ask you just to go, like there was my little fade. I don't know if you could see that I was just putting left to right spin on that.
Yeah, but I can see from how the feet are set up and the gentle...
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, once you've done that, I'm going to ask you to go and put right to left spin on it.
Invert the draw,
And allow it, what you'll see is once you create that intention, exactly as I described earlier, once you create an intention, if there's a fade, let your body move into a position that allows it. In other words, prepare it for the intention and the motion that's about to take place. So for the left to right, I'm going to start the ball left with a little fade. So I'm going to be aiming there. With the right to left, I want to start it out to the right with a little right to left spin. So my body automatically falls into a place where it's called instinctive aiming. Really,
Okay.
it's just for it goes
So
into
based
the,
on what you're trying to achieve, your body will fall into place to let you give you the best odds of performing it.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Prepares you for the task that's about to take place.
So this one we're going to try and cut a little bit.
Yeah, just try and
just a
first
little
of
bit.
all, I would create the intention. So try and feel what it feels like to. How would it feel? In other words, if we ignored the ball for a second,
Yeah.
if you keep your hands on the club, keep your hands on the club. How would it feel for the ball to start left with left to right spin? It would be something. Actually, if I was to take your right hand, it's probably a bit easier.
Yeah.
It's sort of, we're cutting across it and we're going through it, aren't we? We're starting the ball out to the left. Just imagine
And just
left to
try and-
right spin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
You got it. Oops. So let's see. I would create the intention first without the ball, so you know what you're trying to do. Go right through. Go right through to that follow through. Oh, go on. You do it your own way. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah. Keep it and keep that coordination, freedom, timing at the forefront. Okay. And just all you're trying to do is put left to right spin on it, start the ball left and fade it back onto the target.
Oh.
Okay. But the question I'd ask you straight away there
Yeah.
was, were you coordinated?
Nope.
Free?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No. And that's a kind of a rule in golf. If we
Yeah.
don't, so you say to yourself, okay, I wasn't free, I wasn't coordinated, I wasn't. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. I do.
So what I would do is I would leave the ball alone for a second and try and rehearse a feeling of free, coordinated swing with that intention. How would it feel? Go right through, all the way through. That same follow through. Does that feel as relaxed as you were
Do you know
before?
what? It doesn't feel relaxed for me because I'm not used to following through correctly. Because once I get to there, the hands kind of want to flip, but
Yeah,
not,
they can
so-
flip. No, actually,
Yeah.
that's probably a misconception.
Okay.
If you watch this, I'll probably do that to you.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to fade it by manipulating the blade.
Yes.
Now,
I'm trying to control the
actually-
club face. Yeah.
Actually, when you manipulate it, you're not free. You're not allowing the club head to swing freely. So, in other
Okay.
words, if you just watch yourself, if you watch I'm still letting the club release. In other words, that's still a fade.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? It's not like I'm not really manipulating the blade. I'm just allowing my right hand to swing
Yeah.
maybe a little more underneath.
And can I ask, when you swing, do you fight? Because I've always been told long, straight left arm, and then I've been shown actually, like a tennis racket, control the face of the right hand, like right side dominant, left side dominant.
No, I never think of anything
No,
like that. No,
just because it's stuff that I've
And
been told.
Did you
that's
say
probably-
straight left arm?
Yeah.
I would never think of that either. In fact,
Okay, that's good.
I'd almost encourage the opposite. I would actually say, and especially when you're doing this, I would actually allow your arms to. You see how my arms are folding quite a lot.
Yeah. So a
Um,
folded arm's no issue once you're okay.
Definitely not.
Okay.
I mean, if you
'Cause
watch
that's,
me,
that's not something I've heard before. So
if
that's
you watch
interesting.
me hit shots in a normal swing, you wouldn't say, "Oh, his left arm is bent."
Okay.
But I'm never trying to straighten my left arm. In
Right,
other
okay.
words, my real swing, it might look something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that arm is pretty relaxed,
Yeah.
but just the sheer act of me practicing and doing, you see, because I know
But if you
eventually,
straighten your arm, you're making it tense, and then you're back in your own way again for not letting it. Because if you think I need a straight arm, you've taken that freedom away. So
totally.
right, okay,
Now you're
okay.
manipulating. I mean,
Yeah,
basically,
Yeah.
who
okay.
of us would go like this?
Yeah.
You know, it's natural for us to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's a pretty foldy kind of action.
Yeah. Okay.
So try and
Interesting.
feel that from a very short start. If you
And again,
like.
we're trying to just move
Same
it very
thing.
slightly
Yeah,
left to right.
I would do it without the ball first, though. I would leave the ball alone for a second, and just to show yourself what you're trying to do. Yeah, very good, very good. Let it go through as free and relaxed as you can. Very good. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Have
Let's
another
try it
go.
with the ball. Try it with the ball.
Yeah,
Same
have a go with the
swing.
ball. Sorry, yeah.
Same swing.
Not bad. Not bad. You probably felt again you weren't.
Still felt like I was trying to control the club face.
Yes,
And
I
I
would
think
say-
I think I'm struggling to disconnect from controlling the
That's
club
all right.
face.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Yeah, pretty good. Now, what I'll do, because I don't want this video to last for 3 hours,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to suggest we have a go at the draw.
Okay.
So how would you do without ball? You don't need. You can do
Without,
it.
I would be
Try and
thinking
imagine
I want
yourself.
the toe to gently feel that it comes around slightly
Don't
quicker.
think about the technical bits
Okay.
of it. In other words, if you were playing tennis, you just go. Or
Yeah,
table tennis,
I'd be trying to whip
you
it
don't need
from
to
right
think
to left.
just the toe do this and the toe do that. You know,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
think so technically when it comes to golf, whereas actually the intention's pretty easy. Is that?
yeah. And if you were to do it right-handed, one hand, you'd probably just do that,
Yeah,
wouldn't
just
you?
do it.
Just automatically.
Actually, do it. That's a very good thing. Do it left and right hand. Do the fade with one hand.
Okay.
How would you do the fade? Yeah, do going right through all the time. Try and do that full. There we go. And remember your classic finish. How would you like to finish?
Probably.
Remember the finish. Where were you? Yeah, that's it. And you were looking there, weren't you?
That's
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that now from a short backswing. Just do it one-handed. Left. There you go. That's it.
Okay.
There's your fade. Now do a draw. Let's see what a draw looks like. I haven't even told you to. Yeah, but we want this ball to start out to the right. You can stand in any way you want.
Well,
Bearing in mind,
yeah.
the ball's got to start over there somewhere. So to draw it, yeah. Would you stand like that to make it easier?
No, I'd probably sound like that.
Yeah, go on then. Stand any way you want, whatever you like.
I mean, that's very exaggerated, but I'd want to be able to.
That's
I'd
fine.
want to be able to swing that way
You do whatever
without
you
my
like.
legs getting in the way.
With a short swing, go on.
Much like a tennis shot, I'd be thinking.
Yeah, go on. And right through. Do the right through. There you go. Relaxed. Remember, free. No, the ball didn't. That wasn't right to left spin. Do right to left.
No,
spin.
I know. I'm still trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on. Right to left spin.
Right to left spin. Oh.
I'm going to say, imagine. You see, you're so stuck in golf. Imagine yourself. No, stay where you are. Imagine yourself trying to hit right to left spin.
Yeah.
How are you going to stand? Would you want to stand like that? Just stand. Yeah.
I'd probably want to be like that.
That's fine.
Yeah. If I was hitting it as a tennis player, I'd want to be going. So if I was going to
Backhand.
no, but
Yeah.
yeah. To hit a forehand, I would be trying to do that.
Yep. And with the difference in golf, tennis is a bit of a stiff motion.
Yeah.
But in golf, it's not really, is it? We'll just let it go.
No. Okay.
You see what I mean? In other words, with tennis, we actually are pretty stiff in our wrists, but in golf, we're not. We're more of a sort of. You think of Fred Couples, where
sweep.
It's a relaxed. It's
Yeah. Okay. So again, single hand.
Yep. To start with, yeah. Start it out to the right. That's it, and hook it, and put right to left spin on it. That's all you got to do. How would you put right to? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Putting coordination, freedom at the forefront. Okay, from the very short backswing.
Okay. And one-handed with a ball.
No, I'd hit it with two now. Just use that to create the tension, the intention. Do you feel like you're standing in a good way to start the ball out to the right?
I do now.
Okay.
That's out to the right, isn't
That's
it?
good, yeah. Tiny backswing. Right, good try.
Would have gone right to left, but albeit along the ground.
Yep. Same thing. You can fiddle around with your stance. Try and make it easier for yourself. Just keep fiddling around until you can do it. Yeah, pretty good. Keep fiddling around until you can do it. Just feel like you start the ball out to the right with right to left spin. Yeah, pretty good.
Okay. Makes an interesting noise though.
You can. Yeah, it's probably because you're hitting it a little bit close to the heel at the moment.
Yeah.
But you can probably feel that you. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Now, what I would suggest that you do, and this is, really, I've kind of introduced you to a new way of thinking, if you like. Now, for me, just to sort of press on this further, probably what I would do, so we don't do a 3-hour video. If you stand there, no, maybe stand there for a sec, so you don't. Is you've started off with this pretty short swing, okay, something like this, and you're just really trying to focus on coordination, timing, freedom, all that sort of stuff. Then you start to let it go out a bit more, whatever you feel is right. Okay, you just still the same feeling. Try and keep that feeling going. So hopefully you saw that obviously the speed naturally increased, not by me tensing up more, but by keeping the coordination and just taking it a fraction longer.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? In other words, if I take it back there, I could make the club go fast if I wanted to, but to do that, I'd have to. And now
Which puts the rest of you out of balance, and
lost everything. So
no more freedom.
Exactly. So in other words, the actual see, that was still pretty relaxed and free and all that sort of stuff. So then once we've done that, we then practice hitting the ball, starting the ball left with a little cut. Okay. Starting the ball right with a little draw.
Yeah.
Now, what we'll find is by doing that, you'll start to learn how to stand. You're already going, I could see you sort of moving around. You were learning so how to stand, in other words, to make that movement much easier.
Yeah.
So that's how you learn to deliver it more efficiently, by doing these different deliveries.
Okay.
Now, if you kept practicing like that, you might find it very difficult at first. Because at the moment your swing is a bit this way, isn't it?
So over the top is. I've always struggled with that.
You've always struggled with
always over the top. Yeah.
Yeah, which is nothing wrong with over the top. So your stock shot for now might be a little fade.
Yeah.
Which is actually if you picture the fade and try to hit a fade in a coordinated, relaxed way, that would be good.
Yeah.
However, the more you practice doing the draw and the better you got at it from a coordinated motion, then of course the less you would be. Over the top naturally, because you're trying to hit the ball right to left. You can't come over the top when you're trying to hit the ball with right to left spin. It's physically impossible. You can't do it. You have to be moving the club that way.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So it's physically impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got you.
Are you with me?
I am with you. But because I'm in my brain rationalizing how the tennis has been, is that I know what I'm trying to achieve, but the mechanics aren't there until I work on it. Like I know what I want it to look like, but it feels very alien at the moment. So I need to that I think is going to be my first hurdle.
Yes.
Plus, it's a lot of information, and it's so different to what I've always been told.
Very different.
So it's like learning a language and then learning it totally differently.
If you do it this way, what happens is instead of working on, you don't work on anything. You don't work on anything. Your swing forms as a result of you creating intention. In other words, it would be very similar to you saying to tennis, I could tell you all the technical stuff. I could say, well, put your left foot there, put your right foot there, lower your racket there, push it up to there. Or I could say, well, why don't you try and put topspin on it, Alex? And you could go, well, what's topspin? Well, it's that sort of spin.
So I have to brush up the back of it to produce
I'd have to do that then. Yeah. So in other words, the action just is a result of you creating certain intentions. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Now that's really basically it. And then all you start to do is you start to experiment a little bit, do your own trial and error. Potentially I would be there as a guide for you. Obviously in this situation I'm not necessarily, but I might say, well, you could try that. It might make it a little bit easier for you, because there's lots of things you can do. You can have the club face slightly closed, slightly open, if it makes it a little more efficient. All those things you can do. Anything. And I mean, if you spoke to, and I think this is the bit that's not talked about enough, if you spoke to a bunch of great players, whether they're tour players or just really good players, some of them might say, oh yeah, I stand perfectly square, I have a perfect ball position. Usually that's a bit of a myth. I don't think they've really thought about it, because most of them probably will say, oh no, I like my club face a little closed, I like it a little open, I like my grip in this position, I don't like to stand dead square, I like a little bit closed in my feet or a little open, I like the ball back in my stance, I like the ball forward in my stance. They've done that work, they've gone on that journey. They've done it without knowing, you see, when they were kids. When we were kids, we weren't trying to stand there like a machine and learn like a robot. We played little games trying to hook it round trees and all sorts of things, and learn these different deliveries. And that is, in my opinion, is the journey that you go on that doesn't set you up to fail. That's the difference. This journey, as soon as you get into swing mechanics, oh, this is correct, I've got to do it this way. I've got to do it this way. That, for me, is the journey that's set up to fail.
Okay. No, I think I get it. And And actually, I think it's quite good fun, like trying to shape stuff, because again, I don't know, it's the artistry. So it's why you love watching like Phil Mickelson play bunker shots, like the knowledge of motion and what he's trying to achieve. That it makes art. Yeah, yes, it's functionally sound, but it also looks like art. And it will just. I've got a lot of unlearning to do, almost how I approach the game, which.
Yes. I know.
Puts me
Which
back.
you may
Yeah.
or may not do. I don't know.
Well, I'll certainly give it a go. I mean, I'm not on tour, so whatever I've done so far hasn't been a golden ticket. But I think it is, for me, it's probably the psychology that the more rigid and textbook you try and make it, the less your body's going to want to cooperate.
I mean, I can say, for me, this was quite a new experience as well,
Yeah.
because I haven't taught that many. I haven't really taught anybody really this.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what sort of difficulties I'm going to find.
Yeah.
So and it would be very individual. But for me,
but if I'm going to play, say, some indoor golf this afternoon, I think, well, I can put 20 balls down. Just try and shape them both ways. Don't make it part of. Just see how much you can learn of. Yeah,
well, I think you can do that. But I would also suggest that if you could actually perfect this thing, that sort of relaxation. Now, would you say, if you were to take a video of yourself, would you say that you looked as relaxed as I did then?
No, definitely not.
No.
But I still look very rigid.
I would say that would be a little goal of yours, that to try and create that sort of, for me, this feels very free, very relaxed, not manipulated.
Yeah.
Now, and I start with that short backswing for the simple reason that it's the easiest place for me to coordinate, to gain that feeling from. In other words, if I suddenly went, for me that feels, that's all of a sudden pretty hard for me to coordinate, put it all together. Whereas this, if I'm just got the right sort of focus, that's pretty impossible for me not to be able to coordinate it to some sort of reasonable standard. That's why you start that way, and then you just build up.
Okay.
And you saw when I just move the swing out a little bit, it doesn't really lack any power.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why I would have been interested to measure your club head speed, because actually you start to feel, once you do this, that you can gain the same sort of club head speed from about half the effort.
Okay.
And of course you could make that, instead of being an inefficient delivery of the club head, which doesn't create the power, if you can learn by doing these exercises a more efficient delivery, you'd hit it twice as far with half the club head speed anyway.
Perfect. Okay.
That's how I'd see it.
Something to aim for, though, because it's going to take a while to get there. But I mean, that was fascinating. I mean, the theory I find as fascinating as the practice, and I'll give that a proper look. And well, when I see you next, I'll probably have done some videos, and we'll see how much I've remembered from what you said.